Welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking Transformers and we're talking Unicron. Now the last time we saw Unicron was in Transformers The Last Night, Transformers 5, and at the time in the post-credit scene we saw Quintessa hint that she knew how to kill Unicron, and we obviously thought at that point that we would get a follow-up, a sequel to Transformers 5 because it ended on a cliffhanger. However, a lot has changed since that point. We now know that Transformers 7 has been removed from Paramount's movie slate. We have Bumblebee the Movie, which is coming out this year, and a lot of things are relying on Bumblebee the Movie being a success. Travis Knight says it's a standalone film. There's been rumours and talk that potentially Bumblebee the Movie will be the stepping stone for a reboot of the franchise. But again, Travis Knight has made it perfectly clear that he doesn't know where things go after this. We'd have to ask the studio. And Paramount and Hasbro have been quite tight-lipped about any sort of information going forward. And I can see why, I understand that. But it does leave us asking the question, when will we see Unicron again, if ever, in the live action universe? Because I think many of us thought it's quite a big task to bring Unicron in, and Michael Bay made the effort to do so. Now I'm not so sure if I agree with the way that he did it, because the story behind Unicron was that his horns had begun to rise from Earth across the globe, and in doing so it seemed like he was being triggered to rise because Cybertron was getting closer. And obviously in the 1986 Transformers movie, Unicron is an enemy of Cybertron, and also as well Unicron is not attached to Earth. He's a giant sized planet himself, and he devours other planets, and he's on his way to devour Cybertron. So, you know, although it's different what Michael Bay went for, it could be seen as the same because Unicron was rising to challenge Cybertron, which seemed to be led at the time by Quintessa. And if you think about when Optimus Prime is on Cybertron and under the spell of Quintessa, she tells him that Unicron is Earth, and Prime acknowledges that Unicron is an enemy of Cybertron, and he seems very shocked and very surprised, much like I think all of us were when we found out Unicron was Earth, because I don't think any of us can really understand how that was going to work. So with Unicron being Earth, that begs the question, how on earth were they going to do it? Because if Unicron could transform, wouldn't he destroy Earth with it? Surely all living beings on Earth would die as part of that transformation. And if it was the case that he rised first and then transformed, so it didn't affect Earth, surely it would have implications for Earth again. So the writers' room and Michael Bay, Paramount Pictures, had got themselves in a very tricky situation. It started to make me think, in fact, maybe that's why they didn't do a Transformers 7. Maybe there was no plan. Maybe there was no continued story. I've never seen anybody say outright that they had a vision for that follow-up film just yet. So maybe there was no plan. They hadn't worked that bit out yet, which would be incredibly naive. But even if they did, I can't really fathom how they would do it. So I want to get your views and opinions on this in the comment section below. How on earth was Unicron going to rise to challenge Quintessa and Cybertron, and where would the Transformers stand in all of this? Because this isn't just another villain, this is a planet-sized villain, a major villain which, in all honesty, You can't work out how they would tackle or take him down in any shape or form. And some will say, well, look at the 1986 movie. Well, that was a bit different because that took place in space, which gave them more to work with. And also the Transformers then had more ability to try and take on Unicron. This has too many complications about it. The fact that Unicron has a tie to Earth. And I also think as well, when you think about a live action movie, you really do have to take on board the human aspect. And this whole scenario sets up for the Autobots having no chance to save the humans. It just seems virtually impossible. So, you know, I just couldn't work this out. We've never seen as far as I'm aware, a planet-sized challenge to Earth or Cybertron for that matter. Even if you look at the way that Marvel did the Avengers, that all kind of worked out. You could kind of see how Thanos was going to come to Earth. It all seemed very clever, very well planned. And also, of course, Thanos isn't the size of a planet. That's the big problem. So Michael Bay factored in Unicron. He got him in the live action universe, but we'll never quite see what the plans were for him. And when I start thinking about the logistics and the difficulty, it makes me wonder if we will ever see Unicron again. So I thought this was worth talking about today on the channel, and I want to get your views and opinions on it in the comment section below. I want to know, one, how you think Unicron was going to work if we did get a Transformers 7. How was he going to rise from Earth? How would that transformation have happened? And how would the battle have commenced between him, Quintessa and Cybertron? And what does that say for the Autobots and the Decepticons? Would they have to align to come and fight a common enemy? And even if they did, how are they going to stop a giant-sized planet? And what does that say for Earth? What happens to Earth when Unicron finally does rise? And also as well, I want to get your views and opinions in the comment section below of if you think we will see Unicron again in the live action universe, because it took 5 movies to bring him in, and even then, you know, the storyline behind it is a bit dodgy. So if Michael Bay struggled that much to get him in, when do you think another director would try and attempt to do so, if ever? And if they did, how would you do it? Let me know in the comment section below. I've just been thinking about recently, you know, Michael Bay's franchise and how it all ended. I honestly think it was a poor decision to end things on a cliffhanger, because Paramount and Hasbro have had multiple opportunities to say to Michael Bay, look, you can end your live action universe here. And they never ever have done that, and they've allowed it to leave this live action universe on a cliffhanger. But who's to say that if Bumblebee the movie does do well, that Bay doesn't come back, or Bay does come back, if you will, for one more movie? Who's to say that Paramount think, well, we can now afford to do that? I don't think they can, I'll be honest with you. I think if Bumblebee the movie is very good, Travis Knight does a fantastic job, I think that the Transformers fandom will be looking for more of that and less of what Bay did. But it's always on the table. You can never discount this, because time and time again, Michael Bay has said goodbye to this franchise only to come back for more. So I want to get your views and opinions. Please do get involved. And if you like this style of video where we just kind of talk it out, we talk Transformers, hit that like button and get your theories in via the comments section. So all that's left to be said is please rate, comment and subscribe. This is Delzinski signing out.